Welcome to Go Lurk Yourself, a podcast about streaming on the internets. My name is Krunnky.
And I am Cherry Cake. We aim to bring you... what?
Damn! This one, I'm so confused because I know normally you two say your bits and I was just waiting for the introduction, but a minute ago you said it's... I'm going to stay quiet until I'm spoken to.
No, the trick is we've done it both ways, and we always flip which way we're going to do it.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm saying nothing.
Nothing is fucked here, dude. We're good.
This is so staying in.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Welcome to Go Lurk Yourself, a podcast about streaming on the internets. My name is Krunnky.
And I am Cherry Cake.
And I'm General Kaos.
We aim to bring you regular interviews with your favourite streamers to find out more on the person behind the webcam.
To give you more of an inside look into how they got started, what their goals are, and what keeps them coming back to streaming.
Today we're with General Kaos. Is it just General Kaos?
Yeah, General Kaos. A lot of people just call me Kaos on the stream and stuff. It's evolved over time, I suppose.
I couldn't remember if there was a number at the end of it or not. So,
General _ Chaos.
There you go.
That doesn't sound
right.
as catchy.
Well, he's definitely one of the most upbeat and positive variety streamers on Twitch. He plays a lot of PUBG, and he is from England, I believe.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey,
in case you couldn't tell from the accent.
All right, mate. Chimchiroo.
God.
Welcome, Kaos. Thank you for coming on here today. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for having me. I've loved listening to the podcast regularly, so it's awesome to be involved. Thank you.
Yes, we paid him to say that.
We have fans, Cherry. We have fans.
I know.
Well, as you know, we took a little bit of a break over the holidays due to being busy, and we wanted to get you on earlier than this, but I appreciate you scheduling this time now, and look forward to chatting with you. You've been very entertaining for me to watch. You play PUBG a lot, which is one of my favorite games to play, and I love watching you get into it because you have a Robin Williams-esque quality about you, and that you are exceedingly hilarious, random, and you just never know what you're going to get on a Chaos stream.
Thanks so much, man. Being like compared to Robin Williams, oh my god, I love it.
Well, hey, we want to be able to get your head out of the door when this podcast is over. Oh, I'm sorry.
Jesus,
I'm sorry.
Oh my god, let me just push this down a second.
But I mean, Cherry, you can chime in here too. What do you think? Do you think that's apt comparison? I thought it was.
Oh yeah. It's the one thing that made me come back to your stream, General Chaos, was the amount of energy that you have when you're streaming. It's so immense, and you don't like taper off. You keep that up for the entire of the stream.
Yeah,
thanks. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I think PUBG is a great platform for that as well, because I'm a very emotive person. When it comes to my favorite types of games and things like that, I like games that are emotive. I like games that will make me laugh, games that will make me cry. I'm the kind of guy that I cry when Scar kills Mufasa.
Spoiler alert! Spoilers, God.
I love games that make me excited and all this, and Battlegrounds is a great platform for that. I obviously play other games, but it's good for streaming because at the beginning you have that whole bunch of time where you're picking up items and stuff off the floor, and during that time you can just chat to people and interact with your chat and things. But there's these moments of extreme excitement in it. As soon as you see someone, your heart hits the floor, and it's great for someone like me that's quite emotive to be able to like shout and scream and then cheer when I've killed someone, and then go back to chilling out with chat and things. So absolutely love it. Yeah,
that must be such a roller coaster, though.
Oh, totally. I think I used to play DayZ back in the day. I don't know if either of you guys played DayZ at all.
I have not.
No, well, it was a mod from Arma 2, which is a military sim game, and basically it's very similar to PUBG in that there was a guy that made a mod called the DayZ mod, and it was a big open world in the Arma map with zombies, and it was this massive open world thing, and it was if you get killed, you die, you lose everything, so it was like high stakes, high reward, and I'd never played a game like it in so long because it really mattered. You would see someone in the distance and your heart would sink, and you would kill someone and you'd be elated, and then while you're looting them, you'd get killed and you'd be through your third desk in a week or whatever, punching it, and all this kind of stuff.
Man.
And I used to love that. And Battlegrounds is the first game that I played since DayZ that has those kind of highs and lows. And the beauty of Battlegrounds is, and maybe the detriment of DayZ was that you could play for hours DayZ and you'd never bump into another player. And that didn't bother me, but it did bug a lot of people. But the beauty of PUBG is you've got forced conflict with that zone coming in, so you get those heightened moments every game. So it works really good for a streamer, I think.
And plus with PUBG, sorry, Krunnky.
No, you're good.
So with PUBG, there's a limited time to each round as well, so you're not going for like hours or
Exactly.
on end for like not seeing anybody. You will be pushed together, and it will eventually end.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And the reason I draw the comparison, and that was, I never minded playing DayZ, and you'd have games like, there's jokes about it being like the world's greatest running sim and stuff like that, because there's games where you just run for like 5 hours, not see anyone and all that, and I was totally cool with that, because I used to play it as like a bit of a survivalist game, living it out in the woods, and if you saw someone, you would kill them and all this kind of stuff, or maybe not, but a lot of people didn't get it because they were like, I've been playing for 4 hours and I haven't even done anything. So PUBG, the beauty of PUBG is in 20 minutes time, you are going to have to fight. You might land somewhere quiet at the beginning, but in 20 minutes time, you're going to be fighting. Or you might go to the school and fight immediately. So it's that forced conflict that brings it. But
yeah, the game like Arma or DayZ, I think the reason those didn't catch hold and blow up is like you're saying, it didn't survive that. Let's see how this game works. Let's try it.
Well, I think something. So the reason I draw the comparisons between the two, so DayZ was a mod for a game, obviously. There's a guy called Rocket that made it, so it's like similar to PlayerUnknown, and basically it became so popular, Bohemia Interactive said, right, we're going to give you a small team to go make a game. And it became massively popular, and it sold so many copies of Arma. So Standalone came out, DayZ Standalone, and this is where the difference between the two games kind of ended, in that DayZ was like a game that was, people were going like, the zombies don't really work, and I just like died by touching a rock and it killed me, and the guns don't work. Like weird little glitches and stuff like this, like if you stand too close to a cliff, you would fall down and die and all this kind of stuff. So
I know PUBG definitely has some glitches.
Oh yeah, definitely
some good ones today.
But the difference between the two was that the developers of DayZ were so interested in, like, people are going, it's a zombie game. The game is called DayZ. Zombies are paramount. The zombies don't work. Please fix the zombies. And the next update would come out, and they would go, well, we haven't fixed the zombies yet, but we've just added the 14th different winter jacket you can wear, and all this kind of stuff. And with PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is kind of like what DayZ could have been, in that is exactly the same story. A guy makes a really popular mod. It becomes so popular, they allow him to make his own game. He gets a team together, but they are so reactive. People go, I want more guns, so they add more guns next update. I want vehicles, they add vehicles. We want a new map, they add a map. We want some kind of vaulting mechanic, they add a vaulting mechanic. And meanwhile, DayZ's like 5 years old, and again, the other day I was just like, I'm going to check out DayZ again, zombies will work now, and I joined, and the first thing I see on all the patch notes is, we've just added weathered gun magazine 14, and all this stuff. It's like, oh God, it hasn't changed, So, so PUBG gives me the thrill and the adrenaline that I used to get from DayZ, I suppose, and it's good for streaming because of those down moments as well.
And I know for sure that that entertainment value comes through. You've got a heart rate monitor that you use when you play PUBG. Yeah. You've got a dedicated group of people who follow you when you play it, and you're pretty damn good at the game yourself. I know you and me and Cherry played. Was it Dama? I don't remember. We got a chicken dinner maybe last week or two ago.
We're pretty good, Krunnky. Yeah. We're all good together, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it. I love the game as well. I love those kind of games. Like you say, the heart rate monitor. So because I'm a very emotive person, like I said, it works good. I played a lot of horror games and stuff like that, and then I went onto Battlegrounds, and I was talking to a friend. I got a friend called Jetmoo, who he doesn't stream, but he does a lot of testing for my streams and things, and he's been a massive help to me. And
Cool.
and he's a real life friend of mine, and I was like, oh my god, I played a game of Battlegrounds, and basically I felt like I was going blind. I got to the final thing. I killed this guy. I screamed the roof down, and I was like, oh my god, I feel dizzy. My heart is coming. So you know what it's like when you get that top 10 and your heart is just through the roof. And I was like, oh god, I'd love to know what my heart rate is. And this clever guy was like, well, you know what? Let's get you a heart rate monitor. So first on the stream, I had like a little chest strap that used to just record like the beats per minute, and now I've got this full on EKG with like the little blips that you see on there. Movies and all that, and it works well because, especially on Battlegrounds, because you see a game start and your heart rate's like 70, 80, and you're just chilling, you're looting. Now maybe the odd spike if you think there's someone near you, and then you carry on playing, and then suddenly you look up and you realize, oh my god, it's the top 10, and suddenly your heart hits like 90, 100, 110, and then when you get to that top 5, it goes crazy. And my record so far, I got a chicken dinner like a week ago, and I hit 162 beats per minute.
What?
Which, if you think that you burn fat at 135 beats per minute, so
Wow.
now I just eat pizza and play games all day.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you play a lot of PUBG. Is shooter your primary game interest? Is that what got you into gaming or made you decide to stream?
I like everything, to tell you the truth. I like anything that breeds some kind of emotion. I love games that make me feel sad. I love like To the Moon and This War of Mine, like those kind of, in the old days, Chrono Trigger and old RPGs that made you, maybe had like a romantic feel about them. And then I like games that make me feel happy because they're fun, and I like games that make me feel scared, like PUBG and DayZ. I like shooters and stuff, but anything emotive, really, I absolutely enjoy. And I've been gaming, ever since I was a kid. I got a brother that's 10 years older than me that, had the Amiga and the Atari and the Commodore and all this kind of stuff. Yeah,
Yes.
so I was forcing all that, and I was introduced to the Master Race early on. but
Nice.
but then I always had the consoles too, growing up, and it's just kind of progressed from then, really. But I like anything like that. I like a lot of role play stuff too. I like all those.
I got to do a little bit of podcast cleanup here. When he says Master Race, he's talking about PC Master Race,
100%, 100%.
which is a subreddit about PC gamers. He's I don't think he's a white supremacist.
Nine, Krunnky, 9.
Abort! Podcast is going off the rails already.
No, and I want to say as well that like sorry for coughing. I'm going to cough again. There's a big thing about like PC gaming versus console gaming and all this. I consider myself a PC gamer first and foremost, just because I love the variety of games. I love a lot of indie games and stuff like that. But I don't see any boundaries like that. I love consoles too, and I've always had consoles. And I'd say my favorite game ever made was The Last of Us on the PlayStation. I literally went out and bought a PlayStation. I bought it for the PlayStation 3, and it was awesome. And then the remaster came out. It's like, I'm going to go play a PlayStation 4. And I've got a PlayStation 4 right next to my PC. It's gathering dust right now. It's only played The Last of Us, and that's it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm in a similar boat. I bought Bloodborne for that reason. I played Last of Us about half of it, but like you, I do a lot of PC gaming. So when it came time in Last of Us to have it's scarce bullets and you had the shooting sections, I was like so frustrated. I just stopped and watched the end of the story on YouTube because I couldn't finish.
Yeah, it gets like that. I remember I'm really happy because when I started playing The Last of Us, there was a similar point for me. I think it's like the first time you start seeing clickers and things like this. There's an awesome scene where you come across these two skyscrapers that are like crumpled on each other. It's like a leaning skyscraper. And it's the first time you see clickers. And I remember going in and And in my head, I had this like perfect plan. I'm like, right, you know, because I like to be tactical. I play a lot of games tactically, and I'm like, right, okay, so there's a clicker there, there's a zombie here, there's a guy there. I'm gonna play it like this. I'm gonna shoot that guy. I'm gonna go strangle this one. I'm gonna do this, and then like suddenly, like a clicker has gone off path and it bumps into you, and all shit breaks down, and you shoot like the only 3 bullets that you've got that you've been saving for something important, and you frantically get through this fight, and you're absolutely spent and exhausted. And at first, I found it really frustrating because it didn't go how I wanted to, but then it's so exhilarating, and it kind of hits home that like, you know, the main character in the game isn't a hero. You're not like this Gears of War, like, oh my god, I'm 28 stone of pure muscle and all this kind of stuff. You're like this normal guy, and situations don't play out how you want them to. You're just a guy who's in a you know, wrong scenario with a gun and all that. And after a while, I put to one side there, God, this is frustrating, and I put it down to this is part of the gameplay. I really enjoyed that game, man. I loved it.
Have you played any of the ones that they've just released?
Naughty Dog and stuff like that. I haven't played any like of Uncharted and stuff. A lot of people tell me I'd probably like Uncharted. The only thing is I like how dark The Last of Us is. I do like dark games, and I know that The Last of Us is kind of like horror adventure, and I know that Uncharted is kind of like, you know, action adventure kind of thing. So I've looked at them and thought this looks like a similar kind of cinematic story driven game.
Yeah.
Whether I like it or not, I'm not sure. But this is the beauty of Twitch and streaming. There's been so many games that I'm like, you know what, I think I'd be interested in that. Dark Souls is a great one, with you guys and you know, and the other streamers that I watch. Dark Souls is a game that I've been hugely interested in, but I don't think it's my type of game. I think I would get frustrated playing it. So I've been like, right, brilliant. I can watch streams of it now, and I'm getting to see this game that I wanted to, you know about, and I don't have to suffer the frustration. I can laugh at you guys dying.
Right.
Yeah.
You brought up Uncharted earlier. Speaking of watching streamers, I was never really interested in playing that game, but I watched Dee play it all the way through. Well, I think it was Uncharted 3 was the last one she played, and she has 4 to finish up. But
nice.
I know exactly what you're saying. It can be just as entertaining. Follow the story, but you don't have to be the one driving it. You know,
exactly.
And if it's a game style that you're not exactly comfortable with, or a mechanic that you're not exactly keen on, like Dark Souls, frustratingly difficult, then you can still get some enjoyment out of watching other people play it. One of the things, this will be the how many episodes have we done now, Cherry? Like 20. This will be the 20th episode in a row where Dark Souls has come up.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
No, I think the last one we didn't mention Dark Souls. Oh wait.
Okay.
Maybe we did.
We did. but yeah,
that was episode 19, the Dark Souls episode, right?
But yeah, I know exactly what you mean when you say that, you know, it's a similar experience. It's different, but you can get some of the meat out of a video game that you normally wouldn't by just watching a friend of yours or just a random streamer stream it.
Yeah.
I also like it as well for like different perspectives, because no one is going to play it the same way that you would play it. So if you have a game like Dark Souls, you would play it, Krunnky, you would play it a different way to say that, like the way Jess plays it or the way Dee would play it, and seeing different perspectives of it is really cool to see.
You learn from that too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I think the same, like, I remember when I first started getting into like watching Twitch, and I remember when I stumbled across you guys, and I remember Krunnky doing Battlegrounds and stuff, and I get fascinated watching like Battleground streams and other games that I play, because I think to myself, you know, I think I'm good at this game, and this is the way I would play it. And then I'll watch someone else, and you know, in your head, when you watch a Battleground stream or something, you think to yourself, I would do this now. You know, you hear a gunshot go off, and I think to myself, I would, you know, I would jump out the window. I'd run towards that. I would go this way. I'd go on that side. And I find it really interesting when you see a streamer who'll do something completely different to where, you know, I'd be thinking to myself, oh God, I wouldn't have done that. And then, but it has the same like positive outcome. They'll get the kill, and you'd be like, you know what? I remember watching, I'm sure I was watching a Krunnky stream once back in the day, and I thought to myself, shotguns, I'm never going to use shotguns. I don't like them, never use them, and all this kind of stuff. And I was watching a Krunnky stream playing Battlegrounds, and this was ages ago, Krunnky, and I think you landed at somewhere like prison or something like that, and I saw you pick up a shotgun, and in my head I'm thinking, good luck, buddy! And all this kind of stuff. And then you went down the stairs and you killed like 3 people with this shotgun, and like the next match that I played, I landed, I was like, I gotta find me a shotgun! Where's the shotgun? And so yeah, you like get a totally different like, example of someone playing it. It's good Twitch for that.
Yeah, when you land in an early space when nobody's got armor, helmets and stuff, shotguns are just almost a guaranteed one-shot kill if you hit them in the face.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good for tips and things as well. When a stream will go, I try to do that when I stream. I try to talk constantly and like say, right, I try to be quite descriptive and I say, right, I picked up this gun. This is why I picked it up. And I'm putting this attachment on it. I've read that this is the best attachment and this is why. And then if I get a kill with it, I'll explain, right, that probably worked because I was using this attachment and this thing. And I try to be quite descriptive and I enjoy watching other streams for that. And you think to yourself, why did they pick up this weapon and they describe it,
Absolutely, and watching strategies for competitive shooters is a big one for me as well. And another one that I really like to do is to watch like speed runs, because you see like shortcuts and tips and tricks in a speed run that you maybe haven't thought of. I kicked around the idea of trying to speed run back into my when I first started streaming, because I've heard that's a good way to kind of grow a base audience.
Yeah.
But I found that I didn't care enough for it, the repetitiveness of it, and it took a game that I love to play casually and like made it a chore, so I stopped doing that as much.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that can be a real downside with some games. I know friends when like, have you guys played Portal or Portal 2 or anything like that? I love those games. Again, I like emotive games and it's funny and all this, but I remember
games.
I remember when Portal 2 came out and I was so super psyched for it and I played it and I absolutely loved it, and I spend so long on almost every game actually, like looking at little things. I love going over and looking at attention to detail. Like there's a poster on the wall, looking at what's the poster say. On Portal, there's all the scribes on the wall and the writing and things, and like, oh, what does this mean and all that. And I remember going into work the next day or whatever, or college, I think it might have been at the time. And I had a friend who's like, I finished it in 6 hours or something like that. It was all right. And I'm like, well, you finished a game on your first playthrough in 6 hours. You're saying this to impress me, but you've missed all these awesome things, and I'm unimpressed.
Exactly.
But speedrunning, I get it when people get it and they play it and all that. But I can understand what you mean about it. Maybe becoming a chore, and you don't want that. So
yeah, I've mentioned this on the last episode. I don't know if you caught up with the 2017 game in review or year in review for gaming, but one of my favorite games last year it was that Nier Automata, because it had that. What you talked about, it was a perfect mix of gameplay, emotion. Like the story was really well told, the music was amazing, and I if you don't expect something to be as good as it is, it always seems like it's a little bit better because your expectations were low.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And that game really did that for me. I mean, it was an amazing experience, and I stopped and smelled the roses in that game like I normally don't.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of attention to detail, like you said. You may miss it if you walk by it, but there's something that actually is in service to the story in the background that you may not have noticed.
I remember a couple of weeks ago, actually, I caught you playing that, and I know that Phoenix plays that. I've been watching him do a bunch of stuff, but that's another reason why I like Last of Us. Like, I love attention to detail. I love the idea that a developer or an artist or like a rogue person in a game studio has decided to, put in some quirky little poster that's an in reference to something or whatever. And The Last of Us is like that, when you're playing it. And I was fascinated by just like watching Ellie walking around the scene and like peeking over the walls and standing on tiptoes, or there's like scenes in it where she's learning to whistle, isn't she? And you just walk past and you hear her attempting to whistle, and I just love that kind of stuff. Little attention to detail is fantastic.
I'm going to recommend, and I didn't think about this until you brought it up, but because of you telling me about how much you love attention to detail and the nuance, if you ever do get the desire to try to play Dark Souls, like maybe when Dark Souls Remastered comes out, do a stream of it and go in knowing that, hey, it's okay to die 30, 40 times a boss, but read all the item descriptions as you pick them up.
Yeah, I'd love that, man. I love all that kind of stuff.
because that game, what they've never captured since Dark Souls 1, and this sounds like a broken record, I've said this in this podcast before, is the world building of Dark Souls 1. If they don't give you the story, they give you hints, they give you, like you would experience in real life. No one sits down and narratively explains what's going on. You have to piece it together from all the clues. And then they play off that expectation. They kind of lead you down a path and then turn it on its head halfway through. And I can't say anything without ruining it, but if you like to put pieces together like that in a story, maybe give that another look for a reason other than what you thought.
Yeah, I love that, and I think that's the beauty of remastered games, isn't it? I think when a game comes out like Last of Us Remastered or like Dark Souls Remastered, it's win-win for these developers because diehard fans of the franchise will go out and buy it because they want to play it again, and it gives people like me who, like I say, I've gained an interest in stuff like Dark Souls from watching all you guys play it, and it makes me think, now's the perfect time for me to dip my toes in the water and stuff. So, yeah, good plan. I might do that. I'm coming to you when I get frustrated for dying 20 times, though.
Sorry, I have broad shoulders. Yeah, I'll take your abuse.
Cool.
So, how long have you been streaming on Twitch, Kaos?
So yeah, I joined in August. I was really late to the party, and it kind of happened by accident. Actually, I'm a big nerd. I love gaming. I love reading about gaming and YouTube streamers and stuff like this. So I knew of the popular Twitch streamers, and I knew all about them and stuff like that. But I never actually been on Twitch really. I'd created an account, but I'd never really watched it. Maybe I didn't get it in my head. And basically, have you guys ever heard of a game called Black Wake? It's like a pirate game.
Yes, I think my brother has played that.
It's like a massive multiplayer game.
It's like it's not massive multiplayer. I think there are other ones like that, but it's basically like this pirate game where you have two types of ships. You've got pirate ships and the English fleet, and basically they face off against each other. And you are someone on the crew, and you have someone that fixes the sails and someone that fixes the cannons, and one of you plays as the captain and all that. So basically, I saw this. I was like, this looks awesome. I'm gonna play it, and I was playing it on my own one night, and you join a ship and everyone votes for who they want the captain to be. So I just joined and everyone's voted for this guy and he's the captain. And you can use your voice comms, and I just got into it as I like to do. And this guy's I'm running around, I'm on voice chat, proper role playing, where do you want me to shoot, sir? Enemies to the port side, and all this kind of thing. I put on this stupid freaking voice, and this guy's doing his little voice commands and all that, and I like your spunk, Chaos. Yeah, move on to the right gun. Okay, sir. Oh, will we get to Tortuga in time? And all this kind of stuff. And I'm just role playing at this. I'm having so much fun. So the next round starts, and you vote for who you want the captain to be, and all the people on the boat voted for me to be the captain.
Yes.
And so I was like, oh, awesome. So, and it's because I was active in voice chat. So I become the captain. So we're captain of the pirates. I'm immediately what's the depths, you dirty scurvy lovers? Unleash the Kraken, boys! Everyone get on the top deck. And I'm just doing this, and I'm really going to town in it, and I had such a good time. So anyway, I'm playing for a couple of hours. I come off. I think no more of it. So about a week later, I'm online, and suddenly I get this Steam friends request, and I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I'll accept it. And then I get another one, and then I get another bunch, and I went to sleep that night, and I woke up the next morning, and it said I had 60 Steam's friends requests. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, what the hell happened here? So I just sent a message to one of these guys. I'm like, hey, how do I know you? And this guy goes, I saw the video of you on YouTube. And I was like, what video? What are you talking about? And basically, I go on this YouTube video, and there was a group of people who were all on a Discord channel who were playing the game, and they were all the other crew on the ship. And they'd been laughing at me and recording and going, oh my god, this guy's so funny, and all this kind of stuff. I'm recording me going, yeah, derby ski dogs, and all this kind of stuff. And I looked at it, and this video, I think it had 120,000 views, and it was called General Chaos, the greatest captain that ever sailed, or something like that. And I'm a little bit of me was like, why wasn't that my video? I should have uploaded that and all this.
Right.
And anyway, so this guy was like, so what's your Twitch address? You know, I want to come watch you on Twitch. And I was like, I don't Twitch stream. And I had a bunch of people saying, you know, why don't you Twitch stream? Why don't you Twitch stream? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a look at this Twitch. And that's how I kind of got into it. So I kind of accidentally got into streaming. And that was the first game I ever Twitch streamed, actually, Black Wake. So, yeah.
Oh,
cool.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that where the general part comes from?
No, so my name's like, my name goes back way past when. I love hearing like where people got their names from and everything. Mine's a little bit boring. I was massively into South Park. I still am. I do like South Park. And
oh, okay.
I don't know if you know, there's like there's a character in that called Butters, and he's like this like little dweeby character that everyone picks on and everyone bullies. And
Yeah.
one day he invents like this evil alter ego for himself called Professor Chaos and all that.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like this really lame your super villain. And he has like a little henchman with him who's called General Disarray. So literally General Chaos is General Disarray and Professor Chaos combined together. And I spell chaos with a K, and literally the only reason that was I used to play Team Fortress back in the day, and the avatar was very small and I couldn't fit CHAOS, so I just turned into KOS. So yeah, that's how that came from. But yeah.
So I've got a funny story related. When I first saw your name, I was reminded of this, but I play music in my home state around in like dive bars just for fun because I love playing music. And probably mid 90s, maybe 96, 97, I was in a really, really young band and we were playing like a Battle of the Bands competition downtown in the big city. And the band that came out before us, now this was in 97, was it was 4 guys dressed up in clown makeup.
Nice.
They were called Kaos, K-A.
All right.
And but it was obviously inspired by Kiss, right?
Yeah, right.
So I thought, oh, they're a Kiss tribute band is my thought. And they come out and they play just covers of everything but Kiss. They play one Kiss song. And they had like, they were probably all in their 50s, maybe late 40s, early 50s, which in 96 was old to me. And they came out and they were like the cheesiest 80s band 20 years or 10, 15 years too late. It was so funny. And my friends and I, we still bring it up to this
Thank you very much. This is My Hero by Enrique Iglesias.
They came out and they were playing like Motley Crue and Poison, and then they bust out some Led Zeppelin. And the drummer was their singer. And he was just this like, I don't know what this would be equivalent in stone, but he was this big 300-pound guy. And he couldn't drum and sing and keep his breath all the time.
Oh my god, I need my inhalers,
But we started out the night like laughing at them, but they did not give a shit. And I kind of respected them for just going out and doing what they wanted to do and screw what everybody else thought.
Yeah, totally, man.
I know that's a big sidetrack. But...
Very cool, man. I play guitar too, by the way. I'm multi-talented.
Do you really? What do you play?
So I got a bunch. I've kind of evolved over time. I like playing acoustic now, but I remember when I was younger, like being obsessed with like the grunge scene, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, and all that. And
so the good music.
Yeah, right. Says anything that came out of Seattle. My lifelong ambition was to die at the age of 27 from a heroin overdose. I reached for the stars when I was younger.
Wow.
Oh man, sorry, you're too old to die the grunge lifestyle.
Yeah, that's it now. I'm over the hill. I can't have that now. I can't have that.
You're more of a Dave Grohl and less of a Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna die on a commute on the way to a tax office, probably. But yeah, I play a little bit of guitar. Yeah.
So can I guitar nerd on you? What kind of guitar do you have?
So my electric, I have a from my old new metal days. I've got a BC Rick Warlock signature series, like the Slipknot guitars. I have
7-string or 6.
It's a 7-string. It's a 7-string. And I also have I got for my 18th birthday. I got a Gibson Epiphone, Cherry Sunburst, and right now all my electric guitars actually I kind of like packed away, and I just have a little acoustic guitar next to my PC desk, or occasionally back in the day it was like, oh my god, I hate the world, I want to play loud music and all this. And now I'm much cooler than that. I take out my acoustic guitar and I'm like, I'm just gonna play Landslide by the Dixie Chicks and all that. Do a little bit of finger picking and all this kind of stuff. So yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: do you have any original recordings that you want to put on the end of this episode, or maybe as an intro?
Oh God, you know what? I wish I did. I remember when I was at college, me and a bunch of friends, we had like a little jokey band, and we used to do little cover songs and all that. I wish I still had some of that, but I don't. No.
Do you sing as well, Kaos?
Like an angel, Cherry.
I can tell.
Yeah, I like to sing as well. Yeah, I do like to sing. You'll occasionally on the streams see me. I got an Alexa for Christmas, an Amazon Alexa, and oh shit, it's just turned on to my right. Stop it, Alexa. Turn on. Oh, she's turned on again because I said it. I'm talking like it's a sentient being, by the way, and calling it her. But yeah, I occasionally on the streams I'll like say it's tense. I'll like say, hey, play tense music. And sometimes I get emotional. I do a little sing song. So yeah, check me out on the streams if you want to hear my beautiful voice.
Nice. I can confirm him arguing with Alexa on stream is pretty.
Oh,
hilarious.
actually, yeah, I was about to say I saw that clip. Didn't she tell you to stop singing at one point?
Oh God, she gives me more lip than a real person. It's like having a second girlfriend, I tell you. Best invention ever, though. Yeah, I was really, really chuffed with it. And it works well on streams, actually. I literally have it next to the stream, and yeah, like if something sad happens, rather than having like a mixing board, I'll just be like, I'm not going to say the word because it will light up next to me, but I'd say, play that song that goes, all around me are familiar faces, and it'll come on or whatever. So it's added something to the stream. And the other thing I really like is that when I say it, it often triggers people that are viewings at home and they get stuck with it playing too. So.
Nice.
Yeah, cool.
Cherry,
Yeah.
were you going to ask anything?
I don't know. My brain has gone quite dead today.
I'm having a coughing fit on mute. There we go. Sorry.
Okay.
All right.
So, Chaos, just thinking back, you said that your older brother had an Amiga and some other old console games. Do you remember what your first console that you either had access to or was yours, what it was?
Yeah, so Amiga was my fondest memory, actually. I remember, so my brother's 10 years older than me, so there's like a big difference. I can't think how old I must have been at the time, but I remember like going up to, his room and we'd play like games like Dogs of War, and It Came from the Desert and R-Type and all this kind of stuff on the Amiga. I used to love the Amiga, and that was probably the first time when I'd call the Amiga a PC, right? It's not a console.
Yeah.
My first ever console I remember was a Master System, but I used to. Wow. I grew up in Saudi Arabia, actually. This is like a little bit of a random fact for me. My dad worked in like the oil industry and oil rigs and stuff like that. So I grew up in Saudi Arabia, and I had like a knockoff Atari as well that I used to play. I remember I so wish I had bought this. There was one day when it was the years when the PlayStation came out and everyone wanted a PlayStation. So I was like, I want a PlayStation for Christmas. My birthday's in December as well. So I was like, for my Christmas and birthday, please can I have a PlayStation? So we went hunting for a PlayStation in like these weird little back alley shops in Saudi Arabia, and
wow.
and I remember going to this guy. I'm like, we couldn't find them anywhere, and I go into this one place. I'm like, I want a PlayStation. This guy goes, Polystation. I'm like, what are you saying, mate? PlayStation, Polystation. Yes, Polystation. I'm like, can I see what it is? And he brought out this thing, and it was called a Polystation, and it looked identical to a PlayStation, but you press the eject button and there's a cartridge slot in it. And on the box it would say like, now featuring Sonic 7, and it'd be like a picture of Shinobi and all this stuff. And oh man, I wish I'd have bought that to this day. It would have been absolutely awesome. But yeah.
I remember a friend of mine had a Sega Master System when I was younger, and we used to play, is it Shinobi, right?
Yeah.
The ninja game?
Yeah.
And we played that, and there was some like debug game you could hold down reset or something when you turn it on and play.
Yeah.
Like a maze game.
You're right, yeah. Penny the Snail, we used to call it. It was a little snail that went through a maze.
Exactly.
I don't know why Penny. But yeah, so I had I had a Master System, then a Mega Drive and all this kind of stuff. And then the best trade I ever made in my life, I had a Mega Drive and a Mega CD, and I had a kid that lived on my street. And he had a Super Nintendo, and one day I traded my Mega Drive and Mega CD for his Super Nintendo, and it was the best trade I ever. I regret it now because Mega CDs are like worth mega buck, but the Super Nintendo was probably my favorite console ever. I stopped.
For those non-Europeans listening at home, Mega Drive is the Sega Genesis.
Oh god, yeah, I forgot that. And you know what? Because I used to play it in like this American youth center in Saudi. It was called the Genesis out there. Now you think of it, and that's when I played Chrono Trigger and stuff like that. Because Chrono Trigger never got a European release, I believe. Which it was like this RPG, like Zelda, Final Fantasy RPG type game. I highly recommend it. It's so good.
Oh yeah, it's great.
But like, yeah, I think I played that over there, and I came to England, and you just can't get it anywhere. I think on like the English eBay, like Chrono Trigger goes for something stupid like £200 or something.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What did you get with your SNES then from the kid that you traded?
What did I get? So I loved Mario, Super Mario Land. Oh god, what games did I have for the Super Nintendo? Oh god, there's too many. It's just a great console. That's the thing. I know that I know Krunnky's big on his Nintendo and stuff, and I haven't had a Nintendo in a while actually. But that was like a proper fun like games. That's what I liked about it. I have like a retro. This is why I can't. This is the problem with games now. So back then you'd get one game, like you'd save up for it like over the course of months or whatever, and you'd buy it and you'd cherish it and you'd love it. Now downstairs I have like a retro pie or whatever that's got like 15,000 SNES games, like so they all mulled into one because it's like a OCD gaming. You play a game for 5 minutes and you're like, okay, I want to play something else now. And you immediately turn it off and play something else.
Decision paralysis, they call that.
Yeah, totally right.
It's funny because I spent a couple hours yesterday talking to my wife, the Sunny D. She was like, I don't know what to play. I'm like, just pick one. You're going to spend 2 hours mulling it over. And that's what she did. She finally ended up playing Darkest Dungeon after sitting there for 2 hours going, I don't know what to play.
Nice. Yeah, I used to love like Super Mario and Mario Kart and my mind has absolutely gone blank on Super Nintendo games. Pilot Wings I used to love. Star Fox, which in England was called Lilac Wars for some god-known reason, and Resident. Then it came to Resident Evil. That was PlayStation, wasn't it? That was when I really, I think I fell in love with like console gaming and stuff around the SNES time. But because my brother had that Amiga, I always had like the PC interest, and and then my brother got a PC because my brother works in the computer industry, so he was big on PCs. And I remember my first ever experience of online gaming was I played Duke Nukem, and we LAN'd it, and literally we had a laptop, and my brother was on the computer in his room, and I was literally sitting out in the hall, like, with a laptop. We're like, oh my god, we're playing in separate rooms. This is so cool. Like, literally, only a door separate.
Future's now.
Yeah. And then I remember the first game I played on my own, actually online, was like Command and Conquer and Red Alert and all those games.
Oh, class.
And back in the days when like if it used, it was the old dial-up modems, the and all that, and you'd be playing, and like suddenly your mum would pick up the phone, and I'd hear on the speakers like, hello, what's going on? Like, put the phone down, mum. You're gonna break it. I was just about to get his construction yard and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Those are the days. Oh man, I miss that.
Do you remember what you had for the Amiga? Just curious because we had an Amiga as well.
Yeah, because back in those days, like, I know that piracy was a crime. Do not accept it. But but everyone had, I remember my brother having boxes and boxes of games, and it was like a pick and mix. Games I still talk about fondly. I remember It Came from the Desert, which was like this story game about, I think there's a movie called, oh, damn it. There's like some old cheesy B movie where giant ants invade the Earth. Oh, I think it's called Them or something like that. And it's basically a game that's based on that. And that was awesome. There's a game called Dogs of War, which was like a little side-scrolling shooting game kind of thing as well. I played that. Monkey Island, back in the day when Monkey Island was on like 28 discs or whatever, and it'd be like pick up the sandwich, insert disc 17 to pick up the sandwich, and you'd insert disc 17, you'd pick up the sandwich, you picked up the sandwich, nothing to see here, insert disc 22. And you're like,
Oh my god.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Day of the Tentacle. I used to love all those story games. I still like, I really like those kind of Telltale games now, which are like, I regard those as point and click games making a remake. I love all that stuff. So.
What is the new point and click game we were talking about the other day, Cherry, that was made by the Maniac Mansion people?
Yeah, I was playing it this afternoon, actually. It's called Thimbleweed Park.
Oh, yeah, I have Thimbleweed Park. I haven't played it yet, actually. You liking that?
It's not bad.
It's got good reviews, but I think it's got mixed reviews. You were very tactful there, Jared.
Yeah,
It's very, very, very good.
yeah. I'm on the fence with it because it's I didn't have anything else to play on the Switch today because I don't want to progress any further with Mario. I didn't want to get into Zelda, so I picked it up. It was on offer for like a tenner on the Nintendo store. So
For Americans at home, that's $10.
I love it. I love the caveat.
Playing interpreter today.
no, actually, no. It'd be more than that, wouldn't it? £10.
Yes, it would.
So yeah, shut up.
Have you ever played,
Not a singer.
Have you played Day of the Tentacle? You guys played Day of the Tentacle?
I played bits of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Day of the
Yeah, way back in the day. I think I'm a bit older than you guys, so by the time those games, the later point and clicks came out, I was a bit older and I was way too cool for point and click games.
Oh, God.
I used to play with my abacus in the trenches.
Yes. Hey, I got a ball and a cup, and that's all I need.
Oh, no.
I literally, my first console was an Atari 2600, which had like a chopped down or a broken down version of Pac-Man on it that I thought was amazing.
Nice.
And a game called Missile Command that literally was
I remember
just
that.
lines.
Yeah, I remember Missile
And
Command.
you use the stick to like this little flashing cursor and click on it. And I'm like, I'm stopping these missiles from blowing up my hometown. This is so amazing.
I'm a
Okay,
massive.
I have to look this up now.
I'm a massive movie nerd, and John Connor is playing it in the Galleria in Terminator 2 when the evil Terminator comes hunting for them. They're playing Missile Command.
Nice.
You're welcome, by the way, for that little tidbit.
The Galleria is what we call an arcade.
Nice. Yeah, but I love those type of, back in the days they were called Scum Engine games, all those LucasArts had
Yeah.
to pick up and all that. And like the Telltale games like Wolf Among Us and The Walking Dead and
The Batman
yeah,
one
the
is
Batman
really
ones and
good.
all that, and I regard those as like modern versions of those. Like I like I said, I love story driven games and games that make you think and games that make you emotive. And a lot of people hate them. They get a big flack, those games, because there's not necessarily a lot of gameplay, but to me, I'm happy treating those games as an interactive movie and enjoying them,
Absolutely. I think the one that sold me on that, because I was, like I just said, I thought I was too cool for those. It was the Batman one. It came out, I think I had an Xbox One and I was looking for reasons to justify the purchase. So I got that one when it was like $5 for everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's actually a lot of quality in this. And it's actually good. I mean, it was not as much Twitch game skill as it is, interactive narrative, like you said, and it really affects the story what you do.
Yeah, and Wolf Among Us is a great one as well. Have you ever played Wolf Among Us?
I have not.
No,
I
I've
need to
seen
check
it played, but
Yeah.
I haven't played it myself.
It just has I like games with like interesting stories and all that, and it's basically again this kind of game, but it's set in like the real world, but in the real world, fairy tale characters are like alive, but they can't let real people know that they're there. So you play this like detective called Big B Wolf, who is the big bad wolf. And he's like, and basically like the story is that like in very early on, a big fairy tale character is found dead, and you've got to kind of hunt down why and all this kind of stuff. And people take this like drug to make them suppress their fairy tale qualities, and it's just really interesting and quirky. I highly recommend it. Really, really good.
That does sound interesting and unique,
Yeah.
which is a lot, hard to get in some games in today's, gaming culture, or the culture of how they manufacture them. They tend to take safe bets.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
new ideas have to come from like small publishers who are taking big risks.
Exactly, and that's why I like PC gaming, because there's so many awesome indie games. Some of my favorite games. A game last year called This War of Mine was probably one of my favorite games of last year, and it's this tiny little indie story-driven like base management game. And like you say, it's these indie ones that take the risks. So I like to get on board with them really. But I've thought a few times about streaming some of those as well. Like Life is Strange is another one that I know is like really highly regarded and is apparently quite emotional, which is right up my street. But I don't know.
If you ever get to play that Chaos, I'd definitely recommend it.
Right, I might. I was thinking about streaming them. I just don't know how people would react, if people would enjoy that. But I suppose because it's story, people would enjoy watching it. So,
Well, you're on Twitter, right? At General Chaos
at GeneralKaosLive, follow me.
Live. Yeah. You guys, if you want to see him stream more story-based games, let him know there.
Thank you very much. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. What else do you guys want to talk about? I think we've kind of run the gamut here. Is there anything else that we didn't touch on?
What about upcoming games, Chaos? Is there anything that you're looking forward to this year?
Last of Us 2, obviously. I can't wait for
yeah.
The Last of Us 2. And there's another game. Again, it was a PlayStation 4 exclusive game. I think it's called, off the top of my head, like Detroit Evolve something or other. Oh god, I can't remember.
Yeah. Was it like a side scroller 2D?
No, it's have you ever played Heavy Rain? Those kind of games. I think,
Jason!
yeah. Press X to Sean. Sean.
It's Sean.
Jason, John. Yeah. Oh my god. Again, another game that I absolutely loved because I enjoyed the story and the characters, but there's not much gameplay. But I'm gonna have to life of me remember what it's called. But it's called Detroit Evolved something or other. I'll have to look for it later. But
Okay.
But it's set in the future where people basically have androids as like slaves around the home, and it's getting real heat in the press at the moment, which actually makes me want it more. But because the story evolves around you're like this synthetic artificial AI, and you have to do your master's bidding. And I think very early on in the game, on the trailers at least, you're in this like home with like this horrible man who's like the father of this girl, and he basically beats her around and all this. And at the very beginning of the game, he strangles her to death, and you're like this AI robot who can do nothing about it. And then there's basically like a time shift where it goes back in time, and suddenly you become self-aware and you are able to stop that scenario by a multiple choice, kind of like how Heavy Rain is and all that. But, in the media, it's, how they do this, and I think the media doesn't understand gaming, and it definitely doesn't understand Twitch, and, that's very thought-provoking and, like, very serious subject matter. But, of course, I read about it in the newspapers, so it's like, this new game that's coming out enables you to murder children and all this kind of stuff, and you're like, oh my god, that's not what it's about at all.
Yeah, I did read about that.
Yeah.
They had to do these sensationalist headlines to move clicks, but I do know exactly what you're talking about. It is actually the creators of Heavy Rain.
It is, yeah, right? Yeah. I think the frustrating thing for me and us as gamers is that gaming is still this kind of like frowned upon art form. Like if there was a TV series, like in England we have a program called EastEnders, and it's like this big soap, and I guarantee if they did like an episode that the story involved like a domestic abuse thing where someone was murdered and all this, it would be hailed amazing, and people would go, oh my god, this is brilliant. If you want to know more about this subject, phone this number and all that, bravo. But with gaming, the wider media and a lot of the general public, they think it's for kids. Gaming is for kids, and they can't get out of their head. So if you release a game and it's got an 18 certificate and it says featuring adult themes, in their head, it's a kid playing a game about a guy who kills his daughter. It's not allowed. You know what I mean? It's frustrating as a fan. But what I'm hoping is that like the wider world is geeks are starting to inherit the earth now. We're inheriting the earth, and I think people are starting to realize that's not it. And it's the same with Twitch as well. I remember when I first started watching Twitch streams and all this, like I said, I got into it accidentally, and I never really watched many Twitch streams, and at the time I thought to myself, well, to tell you the truth, if I've got time free, I'm going to play a game. I'm not necessarily going to watch someone else play it. And like, as we discussed earlier on, I love Twitch now, and I watch so many streams because I like people. To me, it's entertainment. Sometimes I watch it because I want to know about a game. Sometimes I watch it because I want to see someone who's good at the game so I can learn for myself. But primarily it's for entertainment to me. And I get that now. But it still happens to me when I go into work and I talk about, people ask me, they see on my Facebook and stuff like that, so you were doing this Twitch thing last night, like what is that, explain to me. And I'm like, oh, I basically go on, I play video games, and people come and they watch me, and like people will watch you play video games.
Yeah.
I'm sure every person that's done Twitch stream and all that will know exactly what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah.
And you have to defend it. And the analogy I come up with is, people go, you know, how stupid, why would you ever watch someone play games when you can play games yourself? And generally what I say is, in England, everyone's fascinated with football. Soccer for you Americans. And
Thank you very
you're
much.
welcome, buddy. I got your back. And I go, you like football, right? And they'll go, yeah. And I'll go, so did you watch a game this weekend? Yeah, of course I did. Why didn't you go play football? You know, if you like it so much, why are you watching it? Why didn't you go play it? Well, because I get entertainment out of watching it. And that is what Twitch is about.
Ta-da!
You know, and it's like, yeah, exactly. And normally what happens is they go, yeah, well, I'm watching it because these are the best people in the world at it. And I go, you know what, buddy? That's why people watch me play games.
Right?
You know, but I...
Oh, the game you were thinking about is called Detroit.
Okay, right. It's literally called Detroit. I think it's a semicolon and some weird stuff after
Detroit
it.
Become Human.
That's it. Detroit Become Human.
There it is.
Awesome. Nice. But yeah, so I find myself defending it, and especially when people realize that there's money involved in it as well. And like, I had someone watching me, and they were like, at one point during a stream, it said such and such has donated like $20. Like, what's that about? And I was like, oh yeah, if people enjoy it, then sometimes they like subscribe, or they'll give you a few dollars or whatever like that. And they're like, I just don't understand this. I just can't understand it. And it is a weird thing, isn't it? I suppose, but
What I do is I tell them, I said, okay, caveman, drag your knuckles back to your cave.
yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And then I tell them, right, well, there's this guy called Dr. Disrespect or whatever who has like 60,000 subscribers, and that's 60,000 times $5 a month and all this kind of, and it blows their mind. It's like, this is the future of entertainment. Things like Twitch and interactive entertainment, that is the future now, and I love it. And my favorite thing about streaming is the communities and all this. Like, I love coming on my chat and seeing people that have come before, and you get to know them. And I love meeting you guys, Krunnky and Cherry, and other streamers like Brutal Nerd and Jesse and all the other guys that I've met from this community. And you develop like a little friendship, don't you, and a little bond. And I love it. I love the community.
Absolutely.
Chat is everything.
It's one of the biggest surprises in probably the last 5 years, in my life. I started in February, and I thought, oh, this would be neat. I didn't want to stream. I just started watching them, and I'm like, I think it was last fall, I started thinking about a way to maybe try to do it. I thought, well, it wouldn't take much. You need a webcam, a microphone, maybe a green screen, and a computer, and I have most of that already. Yeah. So, and like you said, the interaction you get, the community, the feeling of belonging with people. And I've said this before, I know, but like I knew the day that they announced, because as you mentioned, a lot of Brutal Nerd and Jess, those guys all played Dark Souls. When they announced the remaster, I couldn't wait to go home and chat with everybody about it.
That's it. It's like these little communities that you make, and these little friendships, and that's the most important thing. And I absolutely love it. And like I said earlier on, when it was so addictive to me. The first time I went on, and I was streaming that Black Wake, like I said, and I went on, and the way it started was, I'd start playing, and my friends knew I was going to do it, and I'd have like 4 people watching. And I remember going downstairs that night and like telling my girlfriend, oh my god, I had 4 people watching me play a game. How awesome is that? And then like the next day, they will maybe tell their friends. So you've got friends of friends coming and watching you. So that that night I had like 8 people, and I go downstairs and I say to my girlfriend, tonight I had people that were friends of friends. They're not even my friends watching me and all that. And then the couple of days later, I went on, and you just see random people coming in that you've never met before that are chatting with you, and then they start following you. And the buzz, I remember going downstairs and going, oh my god, like, tonight I had like 20 people, 30 people watching me, and it's such a buzz. It's such a buzz. And you, like I say, you make these communities, and they introduce new people in, and they become part of the stream. And I regard the streams as us now. When I first started streaming, it was a General Chaos stream, and now when I stream, it's the General Chaos group stream. If I win, we got the chicken dinner, and if I kill someone, we got the kill. And equally, if I suck, we all sucked. You know what I mean?
This is your fault,
Yeah,
chat. You know it.
yeah. But I love it. It's my favorite thing about Twitch streaming is the friends that you make and the sense of community. You know,
I've definitely noticed that about your streams. I don't remember exactly when I noticed, but I it stood out to me when you started saying we. And one part of the reasons that that Cherry and I started doing this podcast was to, you know, meet people, network, grow as streamers as well. And I think that was one of the things that I picked up that you were doing. I'm like, I haven't seen this before.
yeah.
Along those lines, do you have any advice to people who maybe listen to this that haven't streamed or are just starting or maybe about to?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say stick with it, and things don't happen quick, and you don't need all this fancy stuff. Like you said there, I remember when I first started streaming, I had like a busted up webcam, and that was it. And then I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to try this whole green screen thing. I like seeing the whole green screen thing. So I like went to like a market near me and bought like a £4, that's $6, bit of green fabric, and I had it hanging over a clothes horse behind me. And, you know, and that was enough. And then as it's grown, you know, 1 month I'll buy a light, and then the next month I'll buy a better webcam, and then you get a better green screen, and it grows like that. So don't expect it to happen immediately. And then the biggest thing, and I'm the worst for it as well, but I've heard it on every single one of your podcasts. Don't look at the viewer numbers. And everyone says it, and it's so hard not to, because I think that people that like to stream, we're all a very similar type of people, and I think we all like being liked, and that's why you kind of, you know, you play these games and you want to be liked by people, and it's so hard because those little red numbers in the corner are almost like a people like you or people hate you barometer in your head. And you just got to get over that, because it's not that at all. And I think it's really interesting. I really love the Brutal Nerd podcast, and she talked about like depression and things like this. And Brutal's talked about it openly, so that's why I say her name. But there's other streamers that I watch who don't talk about it openly. But you watch a lot of streamers and a lot of YouTubers, and a lot of them talk about depression and things like that. And it's almost like a dangerous thing that we go on because we want to play games and we want to be liked, but that little red number can be so dangerous to making you think to yourself, you're not being liked, and you've got to get over that. And it was Jesse actually who came to my stream one day, and I remember like I played Alien Isolation, which was probably my favorite stream I've ever done with the heart rate monitor.
Fantastic.
Oh
game.
God, and it worked so well as a stream because I scream and I get scared and all this. And we were playing Alien Isolation, and I was screaming my head off and all this. And I had I think I had 30 odd people, which was like the high for me at the time. And I was like, oh God, it was so awesome. So we finished the game. I'm like, right, we're going to do another horror game. And I think I did Outlast. And I was playing that, and I was getting like 15, 20 people. And in the back of my head, I'm going, what am I doing wrong? Something's going wrong here because I'm not getting the numbers I was. I'm was it the timing? Was I not funny enough? Did I do this wrong? Did I do that wrong? And it was Jessie that said to me, she was like, dude, just forget about the numbers and enjoy yourself. And as soon as I started enjoying myself, the numbers went up again. So ignore that red number and just stick with it and enjoy it. That's, you know.
Yeah, the like you said, with the depression and reading those numbers, it's a tightrope. You do it because it's fun to hang out with people. It's fun to see those numbers go up and to feel like you're entertaining people, but it can work against you. The downside is if you sit back and rationalize it, it's okay that there's nobody watching. I'm having fun playing a video game, but it's not your rational self you're dealing with. You're streaming for 2, 4, 6, maybe 8 hours. You're going to have moments of weakness over the course of those hours, those weeks, those months that you're streaming. And it's the downsides that can get you down. Everyone we've talked to, like you said, Cherry and I have talked about it. We've talked about it with our others. I've talked with Jess about it. Sometimes it gets you down when you have like a slump, especially like you want to try a new game because you're bored with one, and you play the new game and you take a hit in viewership. So you feel this pressure, like Kaos said. What am I doing wrong? What do I need to play? What do I need to do differently? Do I need to go back to this other game that I'm not really feeling right now? And it's that conflict. Then you start thinking, I don't play video games to be sad. I play them to be happy and have a good time. So what am I doing? But it's ignoring the numbers. Easiest thing to say. It's the hardest thing 100%. To do.
100%. And again, like, we're saying ignore the numbers. Every person, well, not every person, but like people want to be partnered. You know, a lot of people that want to take it seriously, they want to be partnered. And the fact of the matter is, partnership is a viewer number thing. You know, they say you have to have 75 viewers on a day for a long period of time. So numbers do matter in that sense, but I don't think you'll ever get those magic numbers if you concentrate on the numbers. And I'm hugely over analytical. And, you know, after a stream, I used to come off and be like, right, so I had more viewers tonight and I started the stream half an hour later. So I need to stream half an hour later every single night, and you change all your plans and you do that. And then the next night you come on half an hour later and the numbers are back down again. And then you're like, oh, I don't get it. You just got to get over that, man, and just enjoy it. And when you enjoy it, it comes across on the streams. And the fact of the matter is, there are so many people on Twitch, and there's so many talented people on Twitch, and you will only go far if you be yourself and people enjoy it, you know. And if you start concentrating on numbers, you're going to stop enjoying it, and you're not going to stand out from people, you know.
Or you just do what I do and make sure you're not streaming the same time as Kaos.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, Kaos, I know I could tell everyone to see you at twitch.tv/GeneralKaos. Do you have any other social media other than the Twitter that you
just to let you know, so it's GeneralKaosLive as well, actually. Almost everything is GeneralKaosLive. There's some guy out there with General Chaos, but he's not the real General Chaos. So yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good, buddy. So yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/GeneralKaosLive. I'm at GeneralKaosLive on Twitter. I also have a Facebook group, which is good for knowing when I'm going to be streaming next. I put my schedules and stuff on there, and that is facebook.com/GeneralKaosLive as well. So GeneralKaosLive everywhere you go. And I'd love to have you guys on board. We've got a great little community of people that keep on returning, and we get new people all the time. So join the fun if you don't mind people being quite loud and energetic.
What do you mean loud?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't stand loud streamers, man.
Cherry, where can everyone find you?
Well, thank you for asking, Krunk. On Twitter, you guys can find me at CherryCake518, and I am on Twitch at CherryCakeTV. What about you, Krunk? Where can people find you?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. I am on twitch.tv twitch.tv/Krunnky, 2 N's, KRUNNKY. I'm on Twitter at Krunnky_Twitch, just to be extra confusing. And I have a Facebook, but I don't think I'm going to give it out.
Too many teenage girls sending you the panties.
Exactly.
And I just want to put a quick thing in here, and I just want to say that you guys are absolutely awesome, and the communities around your guys' streams are brilliant. And if it wasn't for people like you guys, and I keep on name dropping people, but Krunnky and Krunnky and Cherry and Jess and Brutal Nerd and all the other people, Sunny D, I got streaming by watching you guys and you entertaining me, and it made me want to do it. I always wanted to be a TV presenter, and this is me living the dream.
That's absolutely nice of you to say, man.
Thank you so much. You guys are a massive inspiration, and hopefully one day I'll be an inspiration to other streamers as well.
You already are.
Oh, thank you very much. Tk you. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry!
All right, everybody, come in for a group hug.
Stop grabbing the ass!
Whoa, wasn't me.
It was Krunnky.
I think we've already established this. All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in to the podcast today, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Love you.